What's up everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I will show you step-by-step tutorial how to create rolling Pokeball track-made transition for your stream or even YouTube videos if you are making Pokemon related content. This tutorial is really simple, won't take long, but I have to say I really like it. I'm going to use Photoshop and After Effects, but if you are not Creative Cloud subscriber, you can try Photopea or GIMP as replacement for Photoshop and DaVinci Resolve or Blender as replacement for After Effects. But you will probably have to find your own way how to make it work. So let's catch them all! Okay guys, this tutorial will have two steps. First, we are going to create basic Pokeball in Photoshop, then correctly animate it in After Effects. I'm saying correctly because it took me almost 2 hours to figure out the way how to make that work, but to be honest, I really enjoyed it, and you can await more track-made transition on this channel. So let's jump into Photoshop and start working. In the Photoshop, select a new file. Set your canvas to 1080 by 1080 pixels when you are streaming in Full HD. If you are streaming in 720p, then create canvas 720 by 720, or if you are streaming in 4K, then you should go by 2160 by 2160 pixels. Also set background for transparent and resolution for 300 pixels per inch. Good, you are all set, let's start working. First of all, we are going to create our shapes. So go to rectangle tool, right click and select ellipse tool. Make sure you are creating shape with no fill and black stroke. I decided to go with 10 pixels wide stroke, but if you want more wider or thinner lines, change it to your likings. Now we are going to create 4 circles. First will be 1080 by 1080. If you are creating full HD transition, otherwise scale all shapes according to your resolution. For the second circle, I decided to go with 100 by 100. Third will be 200 by 200 and fourth will be 300 by 300 pixels. Now select all the layers by holding Ctrl, then pick Move tool or press V, click the 3 dots and make sure Align to is selected for canvas and then align them to the center both horizontally and vertically. Now switch from ellipse to rectangle tool, right clicking on icon and then create 2 rectangles 500 pixels wide and 100 pixels high. Select first rectangle, then click Move tool and align it to the left and center it horizontally. Second one will be aligned to the right and also centered horizontally. Now select both, holding Ctrl, right click and rasterize them. Also select biggest circle in the center and rasterize that one as well. Pick Eraser tool, select rectangle 1 layer and erase unnecessary lines. But be really careful around the center and do the same for rectangle 2 and the biggest ellipse. And your Pokeball outline is ready. What's left to do is to color it, but first select all layers and merge them together by pressing Ctrl E. You can rename your one layer to Pokeball just to know what's going on. Next step is to pick Paint Bucket tool. If you don't see it, it's hidden under Gradient tool, so again right click on the Gradient tool and pick Paint Bucket tool. First I'm going to pick red for the top, then white for the bottom and center, and for the line between them I decided to use gray. I'm going with hue 0, saturation 0 and brightness 30. but color selection is up to you. Last thing to do is to export as PNG with transparent background. From File drop-down menu, select Export and Export as. Make sure the transparency is checked and save it somewhere. Also save PSD file for future adjustment. When you're done, get ready for animating in After Effects. Please just stay calm. I know this software can get really complicated, but we are going to do just bunch of simple things here. First, select new composition, give it some name. I'm going to call mine Pokeball Transition. I know, really original. To set your composition properly, you have to do this thing. Keep width of the composition for 1920 and double the height of the composition, so mine will be 2160 pixels. This is the principle of TrackMate transition. You can either animate them side by side or one above other. For this animation, it will be better to create one above another. Also, I have frame rate 60 FPS, but if you are streaming on 30 FPS, please set it on 30. Last thing is duration, and 2 seconds will be enough. We don't want super long endless transitions. Now you can import your PNG to your project and drag it down on your timeline. If you don't have Align tab already on screen, you can bring it up by clicking Window and pick Align. Align it to the top. Click the drop-down icon in your timeline and once again in Transform and set first parameter of position to -540. This will place the Pokeball just behind the visible area. Pixel perfection. Then click on the time watch on the left side of the position parameter and move your cursor to the end of your timeline and set parameter to width of the composition plus half of the Pokeball size, so 1920 plus 540, it will be 2460 because we want to move it completely from one side to another. Once again, go back to the start of your animation and now click on the time watch next to rotation. Go back to the end of your animation and set it to 1.5 times and we have our rolling Pokeball over the screen. Let's move to Create TrackMate. First, right-click on an empty area in your timeline and select New Solid. Make it 1920 pixels wide and 1080 pixels high, and color will be black. Align this solid to the bottom. Also, we can reorder our layers, just it will make more sense, and lock it so we won't change anything about it. Again, click on empty area and new solid now with the white color, and the difference will be now it will be 2460 pixels wide. Align it as well to the bottom and I'm going to move it above the black solid. And also lock the Pokeball layer so it won't make any changes to that as well. Click drop down menu and also transform drop down. Now we will double the first parameter of anchor point so it will be 2460. Just so it will be easier to align moving this white solid over black at the same time as Pokeball will be rolling. So change the position of white solid to -540, click the stopwatch, move your cursor to the end of the timeline and change position to 2460. At this point they will be moving at the same time. You can turn on motion blur and also once again expand all the properties. Right click on the properties that we change, so position in the white solid and position and rotation in the Pokeball. Select Keyframe Assistant and easy ease those keyframes. Last thing in After Effects is to export it. You have to export it as WebM, so if you don't have this option, you have to download it first. I'm using Media Encoder, so for format I'm going to select WebM. Now we have to click Preset and in Video tab, check Include Alpha Channel. And also save location. Now we are all set up and we can start rendering. Cool, everything's done. Last thing to do is to set it up in your OBS. Click Add Transition and select Stinger. Select your transition. You also have to check Use a TrackMate and under Mate Layout change it to Same File Stacked. Hit OK and everything's done. I don't have my camera plugged in at the moment, but as you can see, transition is working perfect. Amazing! I really enjoyed this process and learned myself a lot. I hope you learned something as well and also enjoyed this video. If this tutorial was helpful, please consider to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's going to give me motivation to create more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you next time.